Welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint podcast. Today we're taking a deep dive into something that might be especially relevant for those of you nearing retirement or already enjoying your golden years.
Yeah.
The potential of gold IRAs to help safeguard your savings against market swings and inflation.
It's a big one.
It is a big one.
Yeah. With so much uncertainty in the world today, it's no wonder people are looking for ways to diversify and protect their nest eggs.
Absolutely. Now, I know a lot of our listeners are already pretty familiar with traditional IRAs,
Mm.
those accounts filled with stocks, bonds, mutual funds. But today we're focusing on something a little different.
Right.
A gold IRA, which allows you to hold physical gold within a retirement account.
Exactly. And I think what often surprises people is that it's not just about owning gold. It's about strategically placing it within a retirement plan, taking advantage of the same tax benefits that you get with traditional IRAs.
Okay, that makes sense. But before we get too deep into the weeds, let's take a step back. For those who are new to this concept, could you break down exactly what a gold IRA is and how it differs from a regular IRA?
Sure, a gold IRA is essentially a self-directed IRA that allows you to hold physical gold. That means actual gold bars, coins, or bullion as part of your retirement portfolio. With a traditional IRA, you're typically limited to paper assets like stocks and bonds.
So instead of owning shares of a company, you actually own a piece of gold.
Precisely. And this can be incredibly appealing to people who are looking for a tangible asset, something they can see and hold, as opposed to just numbers on a screen.
I can definitely understand that appeal. There's something comforting about knowing you have a physical asset backing your investment. But how does all of this work in practice?
It's actually pretty straightforward. First, you choose a custodian, a company specializing in gold IRAs. They'll handle the administrative aspects of your account.
So it's not something you can just set up through your regular bank.
Typically not. You'll need a specialized custodian who is familiar with the regulations and logistics of holding physical gold within an IRA. Once you've selected a custodian, you'll fund the account, which can be done through a transfer from an existing IRA or 401k, or even with new contributions. Then you work with your custodian to purchase the gold, which will be stored in a secure IRS-approved depository.
Hold on, a depository. What's that?
That's a great question. Because we're talking about physical gold, it needs to be stored somewhere safe and secure. These depositories are specialized facilities that meet strict IRS requirements for storing precious metals within retirement accounts. They offer various levels of security insurance and auditing to ensure the safety and integrity of your investment.
That makes sense. It's not like you're going to keep gold bars stashed under your mattress, right?
Exactly. And that's one reason choosing a reputable and trustworthy custodian is so important. They'll be responsible for ensuring your gold is held in a secure and compliant manner. Now, if you're interested in a resource that can help you navigate this process, choosing the right gold IRA company for your needs, we've got a free checklist over at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. It's a great starting point for anyone who wants to learn more.
That sounds like a valuable resource. I know a lot of folks might feel overwhelmed by all this information, so having a clear checklist can really make things easier.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the why behind gold IRAs. What are the potential benefits that might make someone consider adding gold to their retirement plan?
Yes, let's dive into that. I know you mentioned diversification, and I think that's a crucial concept, especially as we think about the current economic landscape.
Yeah, diversification is key. And that's really where gold can shine. You see, gold has historically acted as a safe haven asset during times of economic uncertainty.
What do you mean by safe haven?
It means that when traditional markets like stocks and bonds experience downturns, gold often holds its value, or even increases in value. This is because gold is not directly tied to the performance of the stock market or the whims of government policies.
So it's like a hedge against potential losses in those more traditional investments.
Exactly. It's a way to potentially cushion your portfolio against market volatility. Think of it as a ballast in a ship, helping to keep things stable even in rough seas.
That's a great analogy. It really helps to visualize how gold can add that element of stability.
And there's another key benefit we haven't touched on yet, inflation.
Right. That's something we're hearing a lot about these days.
Yeah.
How does gold factor into that equation?
Well, throughout history, gold has held its purchasing power remarkably well. When the value of paper currency declines due to inflation, gold tends to rise in value. This means that even if prices are going up, the value of your gold investment might be keeping pace, protecting your purchasing power over the long term.
So it's not just about growth potential. It's also about preserving the value of your savings against the erosion of inflation.
Precisely. And for retirees living on a fixed income, that protection against inflation can be crucial.
This is starting to make a lot of sense. But let's address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Some people might say gold is risky. Its price fluctuates all the time. How would you respond to that?
You're right, gold's price does fluctuate, just like any other investment. But that volatility is actually part of what makes it such an effective diversifier.
How so?
Because gold often moves in the opposite direction of stocks and bonds. When those markets are down, gold might be up, and vice versa. This negative correlation is what can help to smooth out the overall performance of your portfolio, reducing your overall risk.
So it's not about putting all your eggs in the gold basket. It's about strategically incorporating gold into your overall retirement strategy.
Exactly. It's all about balance and diversification. Now, I understand there are a lot of myths and misconceptions surrounding gold IRAs. Some people believe they're only for the super wealthy, or that they're too complicated to manage.
I've heard those too. What's the reality?
The reality is that gold IRAs are accessible to a wide range of investors. You don't need to be a millionaire to get started. And in terms of complexity, with the right guidance and a reputable custodian, managing a gold IRA is no more difficult than managing a traditional IRA. Remember that free checklist I mentioned earlier?
The one at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
That's the one. It provides a step-by-step guide to help you choose the right company and navigate the process with ease.
So it's really about demystifying this whole gold IRA thing and making it understandable for everyday people.
Precisely. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to look at real-life examples of how gold IRAs have benefited people in their retirement journey.
I love that idea. Do you have a story you can share with us?
Absolutely. Let me tell you about a couple named John and Mary. They had diligently saved for retirement, but like many people, they were heavily invested in the stock market. When a major market downturn hit, their portfolio took a significant hit, and they were understandably worried.
That's a situation that many of us can relate to. What did they do?
They began exploring ways to diversify their portfolio and reduce their exposure to market volatility. That's when they came across the concept of a gold IRA. After doing some research, they decided to allocate a portion of their savings to gold. Now, here's the interesting part. Even as the stock market continued to struggle, their gold investment held steady.
So in a way, that gold investment acted as a buffer against those market losses.
Exactly. And that peace of mind, that feeling of security during a time of economic uncertainty was invaluable to them. They realized that gold wasn't just an investment. It was a way to protect their hard-earned savings and ensure a more stable retirement.
That's a powerful story. It really highlights how a gold IRA can provide that sense of security and stability,
Yeah.
especially during turbulent times.
It does. And John and Mary's story isn't unique. We're seeing a growing number of people, especially those approaching retirement, who are turning to gold as a way to diversify and protect their assets.
Yeah, it makes sense. When you've worked hard your whole life to build a nest egg, the last thing you want to see is it wiped out by a market crash or eroded by inflation.
Exactly. And that brings us to another interesting aspect of gold. It's global demand.
Okay, tell me more about that. What's happening on the global stage that might be relevant to someone considering a gold IRA?
Well, we're seeing a surge in demand for gold from all over the world, driven by factors like economic uncertainty, geopolitical events, and even the rise of emerging markets. Central banks are increasing their gold reserves, and individual investors are looking for safe haven assets. This increased demand could potentially support gold prices over the long term.
So it's not just about protecting your savings. It's also about potentially benefiting from a global trend.
That's right. Now, while past performance is never a guarantee of future results, understanding these global dynamics can help you make more informed decisions about your retirement portfolio.
This has been incredibly insightful. But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, the importance of choosing the right gold IRA custodian.
Absolutely. That's a critical step. You want a custodian with a solid reputation, transparent fees, and a proven track record of security and compliance.
Are there any red flags people should watch out for?
Yes, definitely. Be wary of companies that pressure you into making a quick decision or promise unrealistic returns. Remember, investing in gold is a long-term strategy, not a get-rich-quick scheme. Do your research, compare different custodians, and don't be afraid to ask questions. And speaking of resources, I know you mentioned a checklist earlier.
Right. For those who are feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this information, we have a fantastic free checklist available at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. It's like a cheat sheet to help you choose the right gold IRA company and get started on the path to a more secure retirement.
It's a great tool. And I'd also encourage anyone considering a gold IRA to consult with a qualified financial advisor. They can help you assess your individual needs and goals and create a retirement plan that's right for you.
That's excellent advice. Sometimes having that expert perspective can make all the difference. It can help you feel more confident and secure in your decisions.
Absolutely. Remember, retirement should be a time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, not worry about financial instability. With the right planning and strategies in place, that dream can become a reality.
Well said. You've given our listeners a lot to think about today. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave them with?
I'd say the most important takeaway is this: take control of your financial future. Educate yourself, explore your options, and don't be afraid to think outside the box. A gold IRA might not be right for everyone, but it's certainly a valuable tool to consider, especially in today's economic climate.
I couldn't agree more. Knowledge is power, and the more you understand about your financial options, the better equipped you'll be to make smart choices that pave the way for a truly golden retirement. Thanks for joining us today on the Deep Dive. And remember, for that free checklist and more helpful resources, visit goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep striving for that secure and prosperous future you